Hey everybody, it's On Screen, Off Screen, the show where we like to talk about books, movies, TV shows, how they influence our lives, and hopefully we can find something good to recommend you guys. Let's start with Josh's first topic. What do you got, brother?
So I'm gonna go ahead and just get started with my last one on the list, Pet Cemetery. I started listening to this Stephen King book because Conlon just loves it so much. I like Stephen King.
I
I
do.
really like Fairy Tale. I really like The Outsider. Um, I feel like he does beginnings and middles better than anyone else, and endings just so terrible. This book is not for me. I would love for Conlon to just give a little bit of spiel on why it's for him because it's all about grief. And it's about grief represented by this guy's cat. I don't like cats. I hate them. I believe the devil himself created cats. And I haven't lost anybody super close to me. So it's a whole lot of like the main character talking about how he doesn't like his cat and grief of the child who may or may not lose a cat and then losing the cat. And I didn't finish the whole book. In my Audible, it says like introduction and then the pet cemetery. And then it goes into the Micmac burying grounds. I don't know if that's part of the same book or if it's just two short stories
That
put
is
together, but I read through everything called the Pet Cemetery.
okay. Um, so the part where the kid dies and then he's just having to deal with the shock, and everybody's trying to console him and make him feel better. And he doesn't really know what to do. He's completely numb. He is lost. It's like his body's not connected to his mind. The way that he writes that section of the book in particular is what it was perfect. Like I can't explain it. I've read other books that involve death, and nothing else has put words into what I experienced when my brother died, like that did. Um,
Okay, so
I was
I
sitting in a
didn't
bagel
get to a
shop.
kid dying.
Okay,
It's
okay,
all
okay.
about the cat. That is all I read about was this cat.
So basic story. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but they find this cemetery. Um, they say not to bury things there. This cat dies. They bury the cat. The cat comes back. The little boy that they have, and I think in the movie they switch it to a little girl. Um, he is wandering out in the front of the house. He does it multiple different times. And Stephen King does a really good job of having you like have these fear moments where you think the kid is going to die, like he's going to get hit by a car. Um, but it doesn't happen, and he just keeps like pulling the rug from you, pulling the rug from you. And you see this, it gets to where this paranoia of danger everywhere is just encompassing you and pulling you into the book because you're afraid for this kid, you're afraid for this family. When is danger going to strike? Final Destination is a movie series that I honestly really enjoy because it captures that idea of like weird random things can kill people all the time. And as you're reading through the book, you know something's going to happen. It's Stephen King, something's going to happen. And a kid walks into the road and the parents see it and they go to run, but they can't catch the kid. And they can't stop the car, even though they want to. They want to stop this truck. They want to freeze time. They beg God to freeze time, but it doesn't happen and the kid dies. So um, in this begging of God for something to be different, for them to feel different, for something to just feel different, to feel in their soul, they turn to what they can control. It's kind of like a deal with the devil, but it's putting this kid into this pet cemetery, and the kid comes back, but the kid is wrong. And that's the basic story of Pet Cemetery. And I think it's haunting. I think it's beautiful. I think it's executed immaculately. But the moment where the truck hits the kid, and their brain stops and time just starts passing by. All of a sudden, it's the funeral, and time just starts passing by, and they don't know how to interpret any of this. They don't know how to handle any of this. They don't know how to emotionally take any of this in. And people are trying to help them. They say, "Oh, what can we do for you? What can we do for you?" The typical things that people say at a funeral, but inside something is broken. And I have never had some author, I've never had a movie, I've never had anything explain what it is like to feel that kind of broken the way Pet Sematary did. When I read that section, I was sitting in a bagel shop in Heber, and I literally had to leave because I was like bawling. I like couldn't stop crying because it was exactly what I experienced. Um, and I think the book is brilliant, like truly, actually brilliant. I don't know how he did it without experiencing a death like that. I don't know how he pulled that off. I think it is actually miraculous.
Do we know if Stephen King hasn't had an experience like that?
From what I read about this, because I was super interested in his backstory, he just pictured what it would be like to lose a kid. Not
The
not actually losing one, but
intro of
picturing
the
it.
book is he went and talked to people and he
Yeah,
thinks them personally.
Mm.
it's
So he did
crazy.
research on it, is what he did.
Yeah, and I've read stuff from people who have lost people. It didn't have anywhere near the impact that Pet Cemetery had on me. Not even close.
It, the writing is really good. I I wanted Conlon to talk about it because I do think that this is something that is worth listening to or reading. Just not for me because the whole time I was sitting there like I don't care about this cat, and then you get a little bit of scene with the little boy, and you go, okay, can we move on? And like literally, I listened to like 12 hours of this guy being like, I don't know if I should talk to my kid about a cat's possibility of death. My wife says no, and I think yes because I'm a doctor. And it goes over that point like 20 times. I'm like, okay, we can move on from this maybe. Um, and then the cat actually dies, and then they go bury the cat. And I got to the point where they think they are seeing the cat, but haven't confirmed it or not. And I'm like, okay, I really get that this is grief, and I like really strongly feel that the writing in this is exceptional, like you would expect from a Stephen King novel. But I am not connecting with it at all. So I'm not gonna give this one a rating just because I don't feel like I can give it a fair justification. And if that other stuff is still part of Pet Cemetery, even though it's called something else, I don't know why.
I bet it's like I don't. I bet it's a short story or something. I don't know.
It's like half of it.
Oh,
Half of
weird.
it is called Pet Cemetery. The half of it is called the Mimic, whatever.
Hmm.
And I was like, I don't know if that's part of the same book or not, but I'm kind of done with it, so I stopped.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
That's it.
No big
I
deal. You
wanted
didn't.
Conlon to give it a fair sales pitch. She did because the writing in it is very, very good. I did not get to a point like I do with a lot of Stephen King novels where I'm like, okay, this sucks now. Again, didn't finish it, I guess, but didn't get to that point. So
Which is fair. Like, it's not gonna be for everybody. Um, but yeah, it's for me. It was impactful for me. Let's keep going with my recommendation, my review. Flower for Algenon. This book, to me, feels like it was written by Stephen King. Weirdly enough, it has a very Stephen King feel to it, and it's utterly fascinating. And I wish this was a book that people read in school. Do you guys like classics at all? Or any classics? I know that Josh likes where the red no the one about racism. What is it called?
to kill a mockingbird.
Yes, sorry. I thought he
Oh,
was going to say where the red footed grows. Nope, that's wrong. Are there any other classics that you guys really enjoy?
um, like I feel like they're classic to me, but then
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else knows them. There's like I really liked Cannibals at Sunset Drive. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that one.
I have heard of that.
Yeah,
I've never
it's a
read
really
it,
good
but I've
one.
heard of it.
Yeah, it's a good
Cool.
one. I did like The Illustrated Man. It's like a collection of short stories. Um, yeah, I like them. And then I thought I had The Alchemist on my bookshelf.
I love The Alchemist. I do actually love that book.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's down at the bottom. Yeah, so I like The Alchemist, and yeah,
I just
not
like
bad.
good books. So Great Gatsby, I do like.
Cool.
Um, Edgar Allan Poe, I got really into for a little while. I have a classic version, leather bound, beautiful copy of the Grimm Brothers fairy tales. Um,
Cool.
just good
And
things.
then you and I both like some real, some not Romeo and Juliet, some Shakespeare.
Yeah, I like a lot of
Some of it's
Shakespeare.
quite good. This feels like a classic. It was written in the 50s. This is something that I think should be read in schools. This is something I would recommend to both of you. I took quite a bit from this book and I thought it was fascinating. The basic story is you have this lovable Down syndrome, probably mentally handicapped adult named Charlie, who's 32 years old, and he's just so lovable. And like they write that kind of person incredibly well. That guy who's just like always smiling and he always just wants to help out and he's constantly wanting to learn and you literally can't help but love him. And they have him go through a special surgery um, where they test him out at the beginning of the book, and he tries to beat this mouse in a maze. The mouse's name is Algenon, and the mouse keeps beating him over and over and over again. And they explain to him, Algernon got a special surgery, and he's 3 times smarter than a normal mouse. And we're going to do the same thing to you. You've been selected. And so he gets a special surgery and becomes 3 times smarter than a normal human. And you are following him as he's getting more and more intelligent. And he's having these dreams about who he used to be. And it's like he's staring through a window and reframing events where he's a kid and his mom is mad at him for some reason and he can't understand it, he can't come to grips with it, but in his intelligence he's figuring it out. He's his dad is leaving the family and he doesn't know why. He's scared, he can't understand it, and he's having to come to grips with this. I found it fascinating, um and incredibly well written. I He is having to deal with these shadows. And one of my favorite parts of the book is when he's getting to where he's like an average human level intelligence. And he realizes that people have been making fun of him his entire life. And how does he take that? And he starts to get angry and he gets bitter because people just keep making fun of him and taking him down. And there's this character named Allison who has been a teacher to him for a long time. And he is talking to Allison, and Allison's like, something is missing in you. And it's this recognition of letting people's opinions about him take away that sweetness and that childlike innocence. I've never seen a book explain why childlike innocence is so important and like what it really does for a person and how you can incorporate that into your life to make life a little bit more beautiful and a little bit more wonderful. Um, and I think the darkness along with the light of this book contrasts and shows you that philosophy really, really well. The negative I have about this book is I think it was written in the 50s and the women are not written very well, to be completely honest. They are more aspects of Charlie's story rather than individualized people. I think there are aspects that are important to Charlie's story, but if it was rewritten today, could have been improved. I don't think that's a reason not to read this book. I don't think it's a reason to skip out on this book because I think it is something that people should read. Um, yeah, I was very impressed with it. I'm giving it an 8.4. just because of some of the things that have aged a little poorly, but I still think it's worth a shot.
So they're like the point of the book is saying that like he's getting smart enough to realize people are tearing him down, and that's what takes away his like child innocence type thing,
That's part of the book.
like letting
Um,
people get under your skin.
yeah, what when are you letting past events dictate who you are now? How is that negatively affecting you? Um, in what ways are you holding on to grudges? How do, in what ways do you not appreciate your intelligence? How could you be more of a kind person? There's a part of the book when he's more intelligent and he goes back to a home like what he would have had to be in if some kind people didn't take him in. And he's experiencing he is both frustrated and grateful to these people because while they love them, they don't see these mentally disabled adults as real people. They're things to be taken care of. And Charlie was like, "No, I was a real person. I was somebody. And if somebody wouldn't have cared for me, I would have just ended up in a place like this." It's there's a lot of layers to this book because he's dealing with so many different aspects of well, I've literally lived a life. I've had experiences. I didn't know how to form connections. I didn't know how to bring those experiences into focus. And now I'm an adult and I'm learning all these things and I'm technically a genius, but I know nothing. How do I learn? How do I deal with all these emotions? I'm so smart, but I don't have the emotional intelligence and the years of practice to be able to deal with everything that is coming at me so quickly because he goes from being mentally retarded to a genius in 3 months. It's
It's
it's a major shift.
it's kind of interesting because some of the things that you said just reminded me because um, I've recently been taking care of my grandpa, and I've noticed how people have been treating him. And I've noticed how he acts around the people, how they're treating them, and then how he acts around me while I was treating him. I kind of felt like I was being a taskmaster and maybe a little bit mean because I was letting him do everything independently. So like I would just sit there and let him struggle to put his socks and shoes on because he could do it. It would take him a bit and he'd struggle a little bit. If he asked me to help, yes, I would help him. But I was giving that for him to tell me to help him. And then I noticed there are other people who were doting on every single little thing that he did, and he would just start not doing anything and just retreating into himself. And so, like, it was interesting to see how I was like, oh, people are treating him like a kid, so he is acting like a kid. And then when I would like treat him like an adult, he would act like an adult and things and like would be more independent. And yeah, so it's like, it's strange how people who knew my grandpa in his prime and now see him now, I feel like their view has shifted a lot on who he is. Whereas I still see my grandpa that I've always seen my grandpa like my grandpa. Um, so I think it is interesting how it seems like that book is putting into how he's realized people treated him with his mental state to how he's treated when he's smarter. And then, yeah, it's interesting. And then I've also thought, sorry, I was like, this book's, I probably should read this book because I think a lot about like childhood innocence and stuff. And like, there's a lot of things that I think about with kids because I'm like, oh, they're taught to be scared of this thing. Like, when does that come in? Or like, I feel like a lot of thing is nurture versus nature, right? And so it's like interesting. But then I realized that I've seen like the kid come out in some people that are older, but it's like when they're put into a certain situation, that little childhood thing pops up and you can like see him become a kid again, and it's almost like that. I don't know if innocence is the right thing, but kind of like joy, I guess. So anyway, it's very
Yeah.
interesting. Very
It's
interesting to think about.
when you brought that up, there was a part of the book that I thought it's just a little detail, but I thought it was genius. It's the first time that he really goes and gets drunk. He meets this girl and he goes out dancing and he gets drunk and all of a sudden he reverts to old Charlie. He's dancing on the table, he's giggling, and he's acting like he used to be. And it brings in all of these different levels, like you just brought up, of the character, and he just thought of so many different aspects of what it would be like to go through this experience. I I would very 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 highly recommend this book. I really would. Um, it's really good. It's really good.
So just to keep building off of that, there was actually, I believe it's Harvard, it might have been Stanford, research
Mhm.
study done, and it's really easy to look at the disabled people and like seeing stuff like that. But in this research study, it's all about like people responding to how you treat them. So they took a bunch of women who were in marriages where they complained that their husband was just a kid, was just like acting like a toddler. You always had to tell him what to do, had to tell him to brush his teeth, had to tell him to make his bed, you had to tell. And they took them and they challenged these women to stop treating their husbands like a kid and start treating them like successful adults.
Hmm.
And their husbands actually like got raises, promotions, started taking care of themselves better. Um, the wives were happier because they didn't feel like they had to be as in control and overshadowing of their husbands. It was just kind of like a small study, but I think it's absolutely true. Like people respond to how you treat them. You know, when I go home and I get treated like the dorky little brother who just likes to play video games and whatever, and I get treated like that, I start acting a little bit childish and wanting to be a little bit emotional and throw some tantrum. So uh, it's absolutely fascinating to see that in all aspects of life of like treat somebody a certain way, and it's amazing that very often they will act that way. So when you have somebody who's special needs, you treat them like they need to get taken care of, or an elderly person, they need to get taken care of. They start acting like they need to get taken care of. But when you have somebody come in who enables them and treats them like they are strong, capable, intelligent people, they start acting like they're strong, capable people. We see this also in the medical field with people who like get addicted to painkillers, right? You start treating them like they don't need the painkillers.
Addicts.
Very often
Oh,
they
I see what
stop feeling like they need the painkillers because you don't treat them like they're an addict. You don't treat them like they're abusing the thing. You just say, you're done. You don't need it anymore. And it's just fascinating how powerful the mind is. And I'm with Lauren 100%. I 100% believe in nurture versus nature.
It's interesting. Yeah, I that's cool, Josh. Do you have access to that article with the study, or did you hear it on a podcast, or
It
did
was
you?
so long ago. I have no idea.
Okay, okay, I'm gonna try to find that. That's
Yeah.
very interesting to me. Cool. Thanks for sharing, guys. Yeah, high recommend from me. Let's move topics and let's go over to Lawrence.
Okay, so Noah Khan is releasing his album this month, which
Woo-hoo.
is on the 24th. Yeah, 24th, because it will be my brother's birthday. I can't remember if it's my brother or my sister's because they're right next to each other. Um, but he released one as a single early, and I'm so mad that it has almost been out for a month and I didn't realize it because this was the song that I've just been waiting for the album to come out because I specifically really wanted this song to come out. I thought it was called "The Last of the Bugs," but it's actually called "Porchlight," and the chorus just wrecks me. it's um So the lyrics say, poison spreading to my lungs. I ain't holding breath, ain't holding any faith at all. I'll pray for you, be in pain for you. I'll leave the porch light on, heartbroken each morning when it's me that turns it off. I'm like, okay, just stabbing my abandonment issues in the heart. um,
That is brutal.
yeah, so I'm like, this is, yeah, I like very specifically the part where he's like heartbroken each morning when it's me that turns it off, because I've literally been that person that was like waiting for someone to come home, and like I'd fall asleep on the couch and stuff just like waiting for them to come home. They never did. um and it's like, ugh. There's something that I shared with my co-host that like happened this week, where my mom was telling me that I was very responsible even from a really young age. And like, this is what I was doing when I was really young, was like waiting up to make sure everybody got home and everybody was safe. And so like, to find out that like one of my siblings would just like leave, or like, I throughout my life, my siblings, we had, it was split house, and so sometimes they would just move over to the next house and they wouldn't tell me or anything. And so like, I would be waiting up for them, but they were never coming home. And so like, yeah, Noah Khan, thanks for wrecking my life and understanding. um yeah, I'm really excited for this album. Even though I think it's gonna wreck me. So
I can absolutely see how you would be the person who stayed up at night, and how a lot of people would not, I guess, respect that is probably the word. Respect that you cared, respect that you were paying attention, respect that you were there, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
I was glad that I could be somebody that somebody was waiting. Like, I always like think in my mind, um, I mean, now I'm kind of mad for little me waiting up and like being abandoned, but I would do it again because at least they had somebody waiting. But yeah.
I love that. You're a good person. You're a good person. Um, on a like less serious topic, are you gonna go to his concert?
If I had money, I might. But the last time I checked, scalpers got them, so it's like 300 to get a ticket.
Yeah, it's stupid expensive. I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
stupid expensive.
So I would if I could afford it, but in this economy, and I normally don't like going to concerts. Like I said, Ghost was a
I
um
was gonna say unless it's Ghost.
yeah, I was like, Ghost was a what's that called? An
But
exception.
it's Noah Khan. Isn't that another exception?
Not really, because
Oh, really?
he doesn't really have um because I don't go just to be like, I saw them live. I want like a performance. Ghost
Okay.
puts on a performance. Trans
Okay.
Siberian Orchestra puts on a performance. Weirdly, I would love to go see Lady Gaga because she puts on a performance.
That's fair.
um, Noah Khan, like, love his songs. They speak to me. Uh, but I'm not particularly inclined to go watch his stuff because it's usually just him up on the stage singing, which that's some people's jam, and I'm glad that they're there to support him and that they'll pay that money to support him. Not my jam,
Fair.
but
We're going to Hillary Duff, and honestly, this kind of shifts the topic a little bit. But Josh, I was thinking about it. Malcolm in the Middle's coming back. Hillary Duff is coming back. We need Cody Banks 3. There's a teenage movie TV show thing that I want a third one of. It would probably be a Cody Banks 3. I actually think it'd be really fun.
It's not gonna happen.
I know, freaking lame, but I would actually have a good time with that. Anyway,
I did
one.
you hear
Oh,
how
good.
she got that role?
No, I have no idea.
So Frankie Nunez, whatever his last name is, um, was filming Malcolm in the Middle, and Hilary Duff was filming her show, her
Okay.
movie, and they happened to be in the same location. And apparently, Frankie and Hilary Duff were close to each other. Frankie
Like
mentioned,
dated or just
nope, just
good
friends,
friends?
just friends.
Okay.
Frankie mentioned that he was going to be filming a movie in Canada. That's it. Filming a movie in Canada. And Hilary Duff's mom is a little bit apparently a control freak. So she
Okay.
heard filming a movie in Canada, asked Frankie about a female lead, and he said, I don't know, I'm pretty sure they already have somebody in mind. He already knew they had somebody in mind because they were going to do the Smallville girl.
Oh,
They were
okay.
going to give it to her. And the following morning, Hilary Duff's mom was like, we're going to be in Canada together. And he's like, what
That's
are you
wild.
talking about? And she's like, I got my daughter the role on your movie. And he, in his mind, he was like, I thought I had veto power. They didn't even talk to me about this. So
That's
apparently she
crazy.
just like forced Hillary onto this movie. And
Uh,
kind of funny, but yeah.
I'm glad it happened. She's great, and she's actually really good. I was talking to my wife because she watched the Hillary Duff show and all that. My Hillary Duff connection is basically Cody Banks, and that's about it. But I love
I
Cody Banks
watched the
100 times.
Hillary Duff movie all the time growing up.
Oh, you did?
Not so
I did
much the
not.
show, but the movie very often.
I
Cool.
have her
I,
CD.
I watched it with my wife like a year ago, and that was the first time I'd ever seen it.
This little butterfly
Yeah,
on the cover.
nice. Does it have the Hillary Duff song? What is the Hillary Duff song?
I'm trying to think of like the let the rain come down and wash away. I just remember that because there's on the backside there's little raindrops.
It's
I
awesome.
think that's Hillary Duff. At least it's on that CD.
I, maybe I don't know. I really need to listen to some more of her music because I just really haven't heard that much, and I like going to concerts and knowing some songs. I'm like I'm not gonna
Yeah,
know
you
these.
should look it up.
I
Let me know.
should. I'll just type in "Will the rain come down" and see if it pops up.
Let the rain come down.
Let
Hillary.
the let the rain come down. Hillary Duff, and then listen to it like 100 times in a row.
You
I could
can do
talk
it
about it
next
next week.
podcast.
Be like, this song means so much to me. The rain symbolizes blah 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 blah.
Oh,
All right,
beautiful.
Josh, let's go to your other book.
All right, so for my next book, I'm going to talk about Audio Immersion Tunnel Season 2. This is the vocal acting performance for Dungeon Crawler Carl. Season 1, I feel like they made a bunch of changes that I wasn't super happy with. But
Okay.
season 2 seems to be a lot more in line with what happened. I don't remember ever going, that never happened. Um, or why did they change that, or anything like that. It seemed very cut dry. The problem
Cool.
is nothing happens in season 1 or in season 2.
What do you mean?
They pick up after the boss fight in season 1, which is where season 1 ends, and they go all the way
Okay.
to meeting
The
Katya.
like, is it the workout boss, the gym bro boss?
They go down to
Is it
the
that one?
floor with the um, trains.
Okay.
The boss,
Okay.
then they go down. That's where season 1 ends. Season 2 picks
Okay.
up. They're like, oh, hey, look at this level. And then they have a conversation with uh, Iceland chick. And they're like, hey, can you go meet up with Katya? And they do. And season 2 ends.
Okay.
You're
That's
like,
okay.
okay, we could have had some more stuff happening, you know? And there was like some fights along the way. They dealt with the fallout from the circus thing, but like because of how that goes, where he basically just blackmails the story runners, that's not really like a big thing happening kind of a thing. So it's like, okay, that happened. And the
Good,
season two.
good.
You're like, okay, well, the performances were good.
Are you? I can't remember. I know you talked about the season one. Did you recommend it, even though the audiobooks are just like so good?
No, I say stick to the audiobooks. They're way better.
Okay.
They take way less time. There's no changes. So, like, you're getting Matt Dinniman's writing,
Hmm.
somebody's interpretation of Dinniman's writing. Um, so, like, in the time it takes you to listen to season one and season two, you could listen to like three or four of the books.
You might as well just do that for the
Just
fifth
listen to the
time.
books and enjoy the story as it is written. And Jeff Hayes does such a phenomenal job with his vocal performances. Having somebody else do a performance isn't even necessary. Like, are they
Yeah,
improving on
I
his
agree.
performance? No. Are they making it worse? No. Is it the same, but just taking longer? Yes. But I like supporting Matt Dinniman. I like supporting Sound Booth Theater and Jeff Hayes, so I'm happy to pay for it and listen to it. And
Cool.
it's
Give it a
good.
shot.
It's there's nothing wrong with listening to it. It's
The other
just
one's just so
the
phenomenal.
book's
You
so great.
how do you beat it?
Yeah.
How do you beat
So
it? Cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, you have one more topic.
I do. It has been book central for me this last week. I listened to the book
Yeah.
The Martian. This is largely due to having listened to Project Hail Mary and then having watched Project Hail Mary, having hated watching Project Hail Mary, having loved the book, wanting to be
Do,
like, go ahead,
do you like the Martian movie?
love the Martian movie.
Okay. Okay.
Loved it, loved it, loved it. I saw the Martian movie like a year ago, so there's no like recency
Nostalgia.
bias or nostalgia factor for me. It was just like I watched it one time. I was like, that was great, and kind of haven't really thought about it since.
Okay.
But I went back, I listened to The Martian. It's another phenomenal book by Andy Weir. The writing is exceptional. Does it make me like the movie a little bit less? Yes. Does it ruin the movie for me? No. Is it a fair comparison? No, because I also watched the extended edition of the movie.
Hmm.
So I don't know what was cut and if it would have offended me like it was with Project Hail Mary. But another perfect casting. I don't think you could cast anybody better for that role than Matt Damon.
Hmm.
I genuinely don't. You need somebody who's a botanist and an engineer and fit enough to be an astronaut and be able to act on his own on screen. Who else would you cast?
Do you
Very
want to
few
know
people
something
could do it.
criminal?
What's that?
So I want to know something criminal.
What?
I thought Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg were the same person for the longest
That is ridiculous.
That is a silly confusion.
time.
That is silly.
It's like literally 3 years ago. I found out there are two different people.
So who did you think it was? Did you think all of them were Matt Dinniman? Or
I thought,
did
yeah,
I
I
said
thought they were Matt Damon. The third person I confused them all with.
Matt Damon?
I thought they were all. Oh yeah, I thought Mark Wahlberg was Matt Damon.
Well, I'm glad you
Yeah.
learned that Mark Wahlberg is not. Because Matt Damon and Ted would have made that movie even worse.
That's what I was just thinking about.
But anyway, yeah, movie is phenomenal. Casting is great. He does a phenomenal job. Um, I did go back and rewatch the movie after having listened to the book. They did make some changes. Some of them bothered me a little bit. Nothing was really offensively different, except the ending, which is like, why would you ruin the ending of this book? It is so good. It is so poetic. It is so So very good.
Did they change it a lot? Like it's
Yes.
completely different? Okay.
So in the ending of the Martian, the movie, it is the ending of Project Hail Mary. Our main character decides to be a teacher and go start teaching students and XYZ whatever. It is the exact
Okay.
same. Uh,
Okay.
in the ending of The Martian, the book, our main character is struggling with having joined society again after being alone in space for years and having came back and being the most famous person on the planet decided to isolate himself. And the book ends with our commander lady coming to talk to him to say, hey, it is so expensive to train new astronauts. We want to send you on another mission. We really
Hmm.
need you this time. And that's how it ends. On this, like, will he go back into space kind of thought.
Thing.
And, like, I think it fundamentally changes a character when you say, this is how a person responds to trauma. And then you change how they respond to trauma. It's what you do with the trauma.
Absolutely.
And they completely changed it in the movie. And, like, I didn't have a problem with the movie ending before, but I do like the book's ending better because it makes a lot more sense. Like, he talks about how much he hates potatoes, and where he and the commander meet is like at a burger joint. And he's like, no fries. And the lady's like, are you sure they're included? He's like, no fries. And she's like, but we have the best fries. He's like, I don't effing want fries. Just bring me my burger. And she's like, okay, chill. Like, it is like very, very different with the ending. But I still really love both. I will knock down my movie rating by like half a point just
Okay.
because there are some changes that they shouldn't have made. Um, but movie's still really good. I still love the movie. I still love the book.
Cool. What was your rating of both? And is this better? Obviously, you like the movie better than the movie Project Hail Mary. Did you like this book better than
No,
Project Hail Mary?
no.
Okay.
Project Hail Mary, the book, is a very special book.
I agree.
The way it affects everybody so differently, like we talked about. Um, I really loved the feeling of discovery and thinking things through and problem solving. They completely cut that out of the movie. But everybody else seems to have come out of the movie and been like, I love Rocky and his relationship so much. It's so great. And it's like, okay, but that wasn't my thing. That's not what I loved it for. This one is very much like, this is what it is. It's really, really good. There is far better out there. And that's kind of how I thought before. So before, I would have given Project Hell or The Martian, the movie, the extended edition, like an 8.5. I'm going to knock it down to a 7.5. And
Okay.
I'm going to give the book a 8.9 because I
Okay. So still
really,
like
really loved
really,
it.
really good.
It's still a great book.
Cool.
I would still absolutely really listen to this book. Andy Weir is becoming one of my favorite authors very, very quickly because two absolute bangers. Very, very good.
Doesn't
Should
he
listen to it.
just have 3 books, or am I
I only
wrong?
know about these two. If there's a third book, I don't know about it.
Artemis.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Does he have
Yeah,
another
it's a.
one?
Yep. I think it's just the three. I think it's Artemis, Project Hail Mary, and The Martian.
Okay. Well, I'm going to listen to the Artemis then because two, like I said, I love both of those books a lot. Very, very good.
This is what it says on the internet. Ever had a bad day? Try having one on the moon. That's Artemis.
Sweet. So he's progressively gotten further away from Earth. That's what I've learned. The moon, Mars, solar system, far, far away. Next time, new universe, new galaxy, something.
Then we're gonna do multiverse. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Cool. I'm glad you liked it, man. It is. I'll read it too. I like the movie. I haven't seen the movie in a very long time, but I like the movie. Um, I'll probably like the book better. He's a good author. And with that, guys, let's go to our shared topic, which I am actually pretty pumped about. Shared topic for this week is My Hero Academia season 4, and Lauren kind of suggested this with the movie, so let's hear Lauren's thoughts first.
Okay, I think this is has one of my favorite arcs in it.
Mhm.
I so previous to season 4, there is the hero killer stain, and that one is my absolute favorite arc. Um, but then this one's really close because I absolutely love the boss battle in this, and I love how like he has like a formula. So like the first part of the season is usually like a boss battle or it's school stuff. And so for a season of My Hero, you're either dealing with the major villain or like a school thing that's going on. And I really like the villain in this arc, and the boss battle when it does have like that slower song, right? With the okay, I was making sure I didn't like get something mixed up. I absolutely am a sucker for boss battles where there's like a whole bunch of like destruction going on and there's like gentle music that's going with it or like inspirational music. I absolutely love the music to My Hero Academia 4, season 4, and then period. Um, I like Eri as a character, and I love how you get to know more of the characters in the class. I kind of feel like this is what Marvel wants to do with the Avengers, but he's doing it better. um, yeah, I really like the season. I want to see what you guys think about it because this is one of my favorites.
Okay. Josh, what about you?
This is a very, 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 very good show. I absolutely loved watching season 4, but to me, this is a big step down from season 3. Uh, I love the hero stain arc. It is the absolute like perfect pacing, perfect build up, perfect reveal to his power, overcoming the power, fighting, and all of that kind of stuff. And then season 4 is just like villain of the week for a little bit, and a reporter who doesn't make any sense to me, and a few other things that kind of just like happen. And I'm like, it's still really, really good. I still enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying the show. I will still continue watching the show. But compared to like season 3, which isn't really fair because I know that like we can't always be on that rise of a roller coaster that is season 3. I just wasn't as invested in season 4 as I was season 3.
Okay, that's fair. I also wasn't as invested, but I was surprised at how much I liked this season because it feels way more anime-y than it has been before. And I think it actually is to its benefit most of the time, which I can't say about a lot of shows that get super anime-y. Because like you have the not Peter Pan, um, Robin Hood type villain character that he beats at the end, and he
Gentle
is as
criminal.
the gentle criminal. He is as anime you can get. Like this is one anime freaking villain, um, and I actually really liked him.
I
I,
love
I
gentle
thought
criminal.
at the first I was like, this is going to be so cheesy. This is going to be awful. Just get back to the main story. Why do we dealing with this stupid villain? But I had a good time. I actually was very charming, very funny, and he worked because it was anime. Like it wouldn't have worked in a lot of other art forms, but because it was anime, the cheesiness kind of it worked. And then I talked about this season as the best representation of what anime can do that other art forms can't. And it's the episode where they're having to take care of the elementary school kids, and the teacher just comes in and she's like, I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. And I thought it was hilarious. And each one of them is trying to deal with the kids in different ways. And you have the guy who's announcing things. He's like, oh, he just bored them to death. That was a terrible move. He should be ashamed. And I thought it was so funny. And they have the one guy that's just trying to beat the crap out of the kids. It's like, oh, I can't. He uses his aggressive tendencies again. That simply won't do in this whatever it was called. And then you have the kid who's like the super smart kid who's just being like, your Neanderthal tendencies show themselves again. And it was so anime. Everything was brought up to a higher notch. And I loved that episode. I literally watched that episode twice because it was so freaking entertaining. And I wanted more of it. When the next episode cut to something different, I was like, no, where's the more? I need it. I want a whole arc just of them trying to take care of these kids because it's absolutely freaking hilarious. And it wouldn't have worked in any other medium. Every other medium, it would have sucked. If Pixar had done that, it would have sucked. But it was great in My Hero Academia. It was great.
I love how, like, you know it's filler episodes, but I still love the filler episodes.
Yes, which I can't think of another anime that I like the filler episodes at all. I can't think of one.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of... Because I've read the manga and I've watched the anime. And I feel like the anime is pretty religiously close to what the manga is. And I don't think there's much filler actually in the anime. Like, all of this stuff is in the manga too. But
yeah, and actually, like, I don't have episodes that I just want to skip. It's great. The main boss fight where Deco is he's breaking down his body, but the girl is rebuilding it and reversing time. I like that is such a cool fight. I don't know. I really enjoyed the season.
I really loved that, like, because that's the thing, right? Is you have the whole gimmick of Deku doesn't know how to hold the power back, and so then you finally get to have a battle where he doesn't need to hold back because this girl's... And then, like, the other thing too is this poor girl can't touch anybody or else they get rewound out of existence, and so, like, she finally gets to hug somebody, and it just, like, it made me I love that boss battle so much. It's so good.
It's such a cool idea. It's so cool to see him out in full display. I don't know why. I hope that they do more where they have both of them fight together, because I'm like, why would you not do that? That was awesome. They should be fighting together all the time. Who cares? He doesn't have to learn to use the abilities by himself. It talks about how what's the guy who had his powers before him? What's his name?
All Might.
All Might. All Might had an item that would let him use more of his powers. I was like, he has the greatest item ever. He has another superpower person that he can carry around like a backpack. Do that all the time. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's... sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to shift it a little bit.
Yeah, same. I was going to say, I also really like Twice, who it's definitely a Deadpool character. That, like, but I like it because it's like a PG Deadpool.
Yeah. 100%.
Sorry, I like villains.
I like that a lot of the heroes' abilities have extreme negatives. I feel like Marvel doesn't do that, and it makes it way more interesting. Like the character with the hawk wings, who, as he's doing the cool feather things, which is genuinely a cool power, he gets to where he can't fly as well. And that's a cool balancing act, and it feels like most of the characters have some kind of balance back and forth, which makes the story more interesting. My negative of this season is I honestly wish that they would have killed the flame guy. I wish he would have actually gone all the way and to have to beat the boss, he was going to die. That's where I thought they were going to go with it. Endeavor, yeah. But they didn't do that. I was a little disappointed. I know I probably shouldn't root for them to die. I should be like, oh, father and son are going to reunite. Yay, yay, yay. But I was like, it would be so impactful to the son if he had been hating his dad for so long and he sees his dad die as a hero. That would have been really cool. And that was kind of my one disappointment about the season.
Um, I I disagree with that. Just because I know where his arc goes and I know
Okay.
everything, um, I think it's a very good thing he didn't die there. Um, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Cool. I'm excited to see where it goes. This season was like a 7.7 for me. I'll rewatch it, but this show is like a mostly a I'm having a really good time watching this once, and I don't know when I'll watch it again, but I'm not regretting watching it at all. It's kind of where the show's been for me. Very enjoyable. What about you guys for season 4?
4. Probably 9. Most of
Okay.
this is 9 for me.
Cool. What about you, Josh?
I'm giving season 4 a 7.2. So just a little lower than where you're at.
Okay, cool. That's fair. Well, guys, we are going to be watching. I'm actually just going to announce the other one on this one. We're going to watch Heroes Rising. It's the movie that comes after season 4 of what we just watched. Check it out. Watch it with us. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and keep going forward. Make tomorrow better than today. See you guys. Bye.